The Morning
It's morning, yo! Good morning, yo! Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The Morning Yo, where we kind of talk about the news, but mostly it's our opinions on it. So to start off, in international news, new baby making rules in India. So apparently, there are new surrogacy rules in India that are making lives harder for certain people. This is threatening a multi-billion-dollar industry that they have because it's significantly cheaper to make surrogate babies there than, for example, in the United States, where it's 3 times more expensive. The new rule that they implemented is that the only people who could participate in surrogacy are heterosexual married couples that have been together for at least 2 years. Who are we excluding out here? Gay people and single people. Why did they do this at all? If it's such a profitable business for their country, why try to shake the boat and make a big problem about it? Mostly because other countries aren't that okay about surrogacy just yet. This is to avoid legal problems internationally. Other things that the Indian government were trying to avoid is that they're trying to avoid the exploitation of poor Indian women by wealthy foreigners. Also, this is to make sure that these children born from surrogates would be living in good, proper families. 2 years of marriage is kind of a good sign for them. So tell me what you think. Maybe this is a good thing, maybe this is a bad thing, maybe... I know there are lots of people who are thankful that they're finally regulating surrogacy in India. The only thing that bothers me about this is that surrogacy itself is already expensive. So not doing it in India doesn't really mean that the people who participate in surrogacy or want that to happen will be not doing it anymore. It just means that they'll be doing it somewhere else, like Russia or Ukraine. In other news, here's a creepy, freaky story about an American who died in Singapore. So there's this guy named Shane Todd, who's an engineer working in a research institute named IME in Singapore. He was found dead, hung in his bathroom, middle of last year. His concerned family from the United States ended up going to Singapore and performing their own investigation on it, asking the proper questions to the authorities, while also checking it out themselves, eventually bringing home the body to the United States. Police reports said that he hung himself, that he had left several letters to both his family and his girlfriend, stating that he was in fact suicidal. When the family brings the body home to the United States, that's when they found out that the bruises and marks on his body were inconsistent with the police report. Another investigation that the family made showed evidence that Shane died from an assault, not suicide. So this, coupled with the different experiences of the family with Shane before he died, made it an even weirder story. According to his family, weeks before Shane supposedly committed suicide, he had been expressing fear and doubts about his work, saying things like what he may be doing in his work may be something that would compromise US national security. In the family's own investigation, they found a hard drive in his apartment in Singapore that contained information about his work that was mostly about this new material that they were making that had military uses. This kind of ties up with what Shane was more afraid of. So upon questioning the Singaporean police, the family found out that they didn't really perform a full investigation. Another shady part of the story is that apart from the Singaporean police giving evidence that doesn't really match up with the story, apparently they didn't really do a full investigation on it. Like they didn't dust for prints, they didn't really put a yellow tape on where the suicide happened. And so it just adds more to how shady and creepy this sounds and how more at question the Singaporean police would be. So it's still pretty unsure whether or not Shane was really murdered or it was really suicide. But there's so many pieces in the story that don't fit. Makes you really wonder whether or not this was something like a political move or a business move that caused his death. So hopefully the family finds some answers, and I can only imagine how hard it must be for them. I can only give him props for seemingly wanting to leave a project that could be potentially dangerous or that can potentially compromise the security of his country. It's still sad that this tragedy happened. So I hope justice is brought on this case. To try to end the line of news into a lighter, more funny, I guess, kind of topic, Iceland is banning pornography. How do we exercise our right hands? Iceland is already in the process of trying to ban pornography in their country. Though Iceland has already banned certain kinds of pornography such as print and video material, what this new regulation is trying to do is trying to ban internet pornography. So though this doesn't really affect that many people in Iceland, the main concern that really does get brought about the infringement on freedom of speech, which is everybody should be allowed to do anything, any forms of art, and express themselves in any way that they can, as long as it doesn't really hurt anybody, I guess. Tell me what you think. Is this really an infringement on freedom of speech? Is this really something that's not bad if we lose? But yeah, that's it for today's episode of The Morning Yo. If you like this episode, please like it, subscribe, share, whatever. This is Charlie again for The Morning Yo. I'll be leaving you guys with the joke of the day. Philippine politics.